Mike is in shape enough to go the rounds, he probably could put Jake out at any time. But of course, being 58, 59, however old he is, his timing ain't the same. So it's quicker for him to go get it over with fast than it is to wait a long time, because if Jake get in and get his rhythm, then he can get the momentum and can be problematic for Mike down the line. But if
you think?
Man, I just hope Mike Tyson doesn't get hurt. If Jake Paul goes hard on him, then I think, you know, he has a chance of hurting Mike in a bad way.
I'm going straight through him.
Whoa!
He won't have to wait. He don't have to find me. All the running I'm going to do is right at him. He ain't got to worry about finding me.
Boxing pros have given their shocking predictions for the highly anticipated showdown between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Mike Tyson shared that it is crazy that he got the chance to fight in front of 97,000 people at the age of 58, which seems next to impossible. Tyson was of the opinion that boxers fight their biggest bouts in their prime, but he thrives on the attention he gets when he fights, even at 60 years of age.
58 years old, I'm fighting the biggest fight of my life. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? You're supposed to fight the biggest fight of your life when you're in your 20s and stuff.
Is it the actual football stadium?
Yeah. 97,000, right?
Yeah. Not only will we be watching, I know the world will be watching.
That's what I thrive on, the world watching me before.
Fight commentator Joe Rogan stated that he would prefer not to watch a 58-year-old man face a younger opponent like Jake Paul. Rogan believes that Tyson can fight one more bout at his age and supports his efforts to take on the YouTuber. Joe further went on to say that 58 years old is not as old as it was in the 1990s.
What do you think of Tyson and Jake?
I wish it wasn't a thing. I wish it wasn't a thing where a 58-year-old guy was going to fight a 28-year-old. I fully support his desire to do it. He's not going to live forever. Maybe he wants one more shot at it. Maybe his body can do one more fight. He looks great on the mitts. I could look good on the mitts.
Yeah.
What you want to see is him sparring. You want to see him hitting the bag for multiple rounds. I want to see how your feet move. I want to see what it looks like if you're off balance when you're throwing combinations. He's 58, you know? I support him. 58 today is not 58 when I was 21. Conventional wisdom would say this is a terrible fight.
Moreover, Tyson commented that he will be the #1 champion in the world, surpassing Floyd Mayweather and any other boxer in history when he upsets the Disney kid Jake Paul. Mike thrives for entertainment, and he loves to get a knockout for his fans. His urge to end the problem child drives his motivation to fight one more time on November 15th.
Top 10 records, you still own at least 5 of those numbers.
This is #1 now. This is #1. Everybody, Floyd, this is #1 now. No one can beat me. I'm the best right now in all the draws right now. That's what I look.
Mike Tyson shared that Jake Paul shouldn't be worried about finding him in the ring as he plans to go beast mode on Paul. Tyson commented that he will use his energy to dive into the ring and fight Paul like a younger opponent, and when he manages to catch him with some good shots, then it will be game over for Jake.
He ain't got to worry about fighting me.
Worried about fighting.
You see his sparring session where the guy faked being knocked down?
Yes,
that
I saw
was
that.
beautiful. He took a fall. He took a dive.
That inside fighting, Mike, with those hands. Woo.
Moreover, Roy Jones Jr. shared that if Jake Paul gets comfortable in the ring with Tyson, then he would be in trouble. Roy commented that Tyson should finish the game as quickly as possible and not give Jake any time to recover. Moreover, Andre Ward shared that Mike Tyson needs no help in the ring, but if Jake manages to clip Mike, then he is going to have a problem with Paul, since Tyson and Roy Jones are the legends for Andre.
If Jake ain't got nothing else, he got a right hand.
Of course he does.
He ain't got nothing else, he got a right hand.
That's why I say if you let him go get comfortable, he gonna become dangerous.
Yeah. But I told Mike, I was like, man, I know you don't need no help, man. I said, but y'all like my legends, man. Guys I came up watching.
Right.
I said, if Jake go in there tripping, man, and something happened, man, I'm gonna have to holler at Jake, because I ain't gonna appreciate that.
Exactly right.
Meanwhile, Mike Tyson's former coach Teddy Atlas had some supporting remarks for Jake Paul when he said that the reason why he is going into the fight with Tyson is so he can make a name for himself. Atlas shared that Jake may be changing the sport for the fans and building a promotional company along the way.
Jake Paul, he's on the way to like building a legitimate boxing career. He's having real fights.
Part of it is what it's been from the beginning, you know, trying to be the best fighter he can be and see where that takes him. At the same time, building a promotional company, maybe changing the sport a little bit in his mind too.
Yeah, I think at the core he's a good person, and I wouldn't be surprised if part of his motivation for putting on this fight is knowing it will get eyeballs and being able to put on some of the other fighters there.
On the other hand, Jake Paul continues to train hard for his fight with Tyson, and his bulked up physique looks in top shape to end a fighter who is his grandfather's age.
Don't charge at me, Tyson.
Moreover, Lennox Lewis commented that it may be hard to believe that Tyson can throw punches and move around at the age of 60. However, Lewis has faced Tyson in his prime and is convinced that Mike Tyson can hold his own in the fight and take over the problem child.
It's a task. You know, it's hard to box at when you're that old, moving around the ring, throwing punches, getting punches thrown at you.
Jorge Masvidal chose not to comment on the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, mentioning that there are many unknowns in the match. He expressed concern for Mike Tyson due to his advanced age, but declined to make any predictions before the fight.
Man, I don't know, bro. I don't know, man, about that fight. It's just so hard to call it. You know, I don't know Mike's. He's 60 years old, right? Something like that. Like, damn, that's an old dude, bro. You know, and I'm not trying to rank on Jake, because if you're getting the bag for it, you know, what could you do? It's just, I heard it's with 16 ounces, then I heard it's not with, I don't know, there's so many things going on with it. I don't know what to say if it's an exhibition.
Roy Jones Jr. claimed that when he fought Tyson back in 2020, both he and Tyson were old, but they had been in the game for years. Jones thinks that Mike can beat the Disney Kid because of his incredible experience, even though he is 58 years old.
When you found out, because you've been in the ring with Mike not too long ago, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. When you found out Mike Tyson had agreed this fight, what was your initial view on that?
Well, I felt like it was for him a much safer fight than fighting someone like myself, because for me, it's like, yeah, we both older, but we both know the game. Jake is learning the game, so it's a little bit easier to try to take a chance with a guy who's learning the game as opposed to a guy who knows the game.
Frank Warren, on the contrary, expressed his concerns for Mike Tyson's health in his bout with Jake Paul. He shared that boxing is not for 60-year-old people, even though he acknowledged Jake Paul as a good promoter and entertainer.
Made my opinion made. I don't think people that age should be fighting, but as long as he's medically fit and he's found fit to box, that's his choice. You know, and Jake, I've got a lot of respect for him. And Nikita, his business partner, they're very shrewd guys, and the fight's on. Whatever I say is not going to make any difference to that. But, you know, boxing's not for 60-year-old guys, that's for sure.
On the other hand, Oscar De La Hoya shared that Jake Paul is going to be super strong on November 15th since he has jumped to heavyweight. De La Hoya is rooting for Mike Tyson because if he lands one solid shot on Jake, then it's game over for him.
Jake Paul, I guess he gained a lot of muscle lately. He's gonna be strong up there, so just be careful, Tyson. But then again, Mike Tyson landing one punch, he can end it all in one round.
Brendan Schaub offered a unique perspective on the Mike Tyson fight, outlining various scenarios where Tyson could lose or even Jake could end up losing. He also shared that the fight could end with no decision, which would be devastating for Netflix and its business.
I love Mike Tyson, love Jake. I hope it crushes, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out the upside to this. Let's go through the scenario here. If you're Jake, so you knock him out, horrible, dude. What the f? You just beat up an old man. You get knocked out. They told you this guy's a joke. You get beat up by a 58-year-old. The third scenario here is it goes to decision. That's a disaster and nobody's coming back. That's a disaster business-wise for Netflix. It's a disaster for Jake Paul. What? Went to decision with 58-year-old Mike Tyson. The only person who wins is not Netflix, not Jake Paul. Mike Tyson wins. He can do no wrong. He gets knocked out. Yeah, he's 58. Still getting paid. He beats Jake Paul. Yeah, all the old guys are like, yeah, daddy. Goes to decision, Mike Tyson wins. For Netflix, dude, I don't know. Let's say Mike Tyson wins. What are you going to do? What's next? Mike Tyson and then Logan Paul to revenge his brother? And then Mike Tyson KSI? That's the business model? Okay.
Former boxer Bernard Hopkins shared that he doesn't like the fact that an old Mike Tyson has to go up against a younger Jake Paul. Bernard commented that he looks at Mike Tyson as a legend, but Jake Paul is a gimmick fighter. Bernard could not bring himself to accept Jake as a real fighter because, in order to deserve respect, Paul must face boxers of his age.
I don't like it. Is it because of the Jay? I look at Mike as like I look at him different.
Bam Rodriguez was concerned for Mike's safety going into the fight with Jake Paul. He shared that if Mike catches Jake Paul and secures a knockout, then he would be the best boxer in the world past his prime.
You think? I just hope Mike Tyson doesn't get hurt. If Jake Paul goes hard on him, then I think, he has a chance of hurting Mike in a bad way. But I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they just, take it easy on each other. But it's a cool fight overall.
If Mike knocks him out, greatest win of all time?
Not the greatest, but it's a big win for Mike.
Floyd Mayweather, on the other hand, supported Jake Paul's endeavor of taking on Mike Tyson and shared that it's good for boxing. However, Mayweather emphasized that if he goes up against a real boxer, then it would end his career.
Jake Paul, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Meanwhile, Jake Paul's previous opponent Tyron Woodley made some very odd remarks about the Mike Tyson fight on November 15th. Woodley said that the fight was even on both ends, even though Mike Tyson is close to 60 years. Tyron commented that nobody would have fought Iron Mike back in his prime, given his devastating knockout power.
Fight coming up, Jake Paul, and also the Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Who do you think has this one right here? Who do you have your money on?
It's a very even fight, to be honest. And it's even because of the age of Mike Tyson, and it's
okay.
I think it's an even fight because of the age of Mike Tyson. He's completely, obviously, out of his prime. When in his prime, most of his fights were almost attempted murder. So literally, Jake wouldn't have stood a chance. Nobody would even commission or sanction a fight against him and Mike Tyson.
Furthermore, Adam Smith shared that Jake Paul's fight with Mike Tyson is very different from when Logan Paul went up against KSI, since that was more of influencer boxing, and this is a real fight. Smith complimented Mike Tyson and acknowledged him as a legend.
But look, I was there when Logan Paul fought KSI, and we took it for what it was. It was entertaining. It was great. The two guys, the two YouTubers, so much fun being around them. This is a different one. Mike Tyson's a legend, and I get what Eddie Hearn says about the fact that, we remember him for what he was. But also Mike says if he can fight, he should be able to. And, he wants this at this stage, and maybe it's something he...
Furthermore, Jake Paul continues to troll Tyson by posting his training sessions on social media, which usually involve jokes. This time, Paul copied Donald Trump's dance while lifting a heavy bag. TV personality Adi Oladipo loves Mike Tyson as a legend, but he believes that Tyson shouldn't be fighting Jake Paul. Adi commented that Mike Tyson had his last professional fight in 2005, and he looked absolutely terrible. Adi pointed out that Mike Tyson has slowed down dramatically with age.
I don't want to dig out Mike too much just because I'm a huge fan of Mike Tyson, and I got to love and got into the sport because of Mike Tyson. But Mike Tyson at 58 years of age shouldn't be fighting Jake Paul. He's not had a professional fight since 2005. He had that
when he looked terrible against Kevin McBride.
He looked awful. And then he had this fight of sorts with Roy Jones Jr. 4 years ago, and I think we all saw in that he slowed down.
Brendan Schaub further claimed that the Paul versus Tyson fight seems more of a gimmick than a real fight, since there is no way a 58-year-old man can beat a young 27-year-old kid. Brendan commented that it may be Netflix's brilliant promotional tactic to get Tyson to fight and then prolong the fight decision to 2 or 3 more fights.
I like Mike. There's just no appetite for this. It just doesn't make sense. The other thing is Mike having to pull out because of ulcers, like that f***ed it all up. Jake's team's brilliant, so maybe it's a Trojan horse, like I've said before. Hey, just get this across, we'll get the views, and then they're gonna sign 3 fights, some sort of deal, or he gets the UFC. I don't know. I don't see the upside. I fancy myself a marketer. I don't get how you're gonna twist this one where it's compelling. Do you want to get people intrigued with this fight? Make it bare knuckle. Like, oh, Jake gets hit with a bare knuckle. Mike Tyson, this thing's over. And I saw Mike Tyson on an interview with Henry Cejudo. He's like, what is it? They tell you you're that old, but I don't feel 50. You're like, oh, okay, this is it. Then you're 58.
UFC CEO Dana White had serious concerns for Mike Tyson's health since he is doing the impossible by going up against an opponent who is 30 years younger than him. White doesn't like that Paul is going up against an old and sick Mike Tyson.
He gets mad when I do this, but Mike's 60, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? Who gives a shit what I think? It's not my fight. I love Mike Tyson, personally as a friend, and he's one of my favorite athletes of all time. I don't know. Let's see what he can go in there and put together a training camp and come in. And I don't like to see guys fighting it. Be a 31-year age difference.
Fitness influencer Mike Rashid is convinced that Jake Paul can't hold a candle to Mike Tyson. He shared that Mike Tyson never gets beaten in any universe. Rashid was adamant at putting Tyson on the top of the boxing world.
If Mike Tyson loses to Jake Paul, does it affect his legacy?
There is no possible chance in this universe or the parallel universe or metaverse that it is possible that Jake Paul will beat Mike Tyson. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. If Jake Paul beats Mike Tyson, I will not talk for 3 months. I'll fight. I want to fight Jake Paul. I would beat Jake Paul without training. I'm sure somebody in his camp is watching this. Tell him.
No weight training or nothing?
Nothing.
How many rounds?
I would knock him out. Probably like 2.
Jake Paul reacted to Mike Tyson's sparring sessions where he dropped his opponents like flies. Paul commented that he is not afraid and doesn't even care about Tyson's training since he is doing the same thing.
Oh, Jake, did you see Mike Tyson dropping his
no.
sparring partner?
I was talking about.
I
was talking about.
No shit, I saw it, and I don't give a f. Sure, he's looking good. Sure, he's looking all of that. Oh, he's dropping people. He's fast. So the f am I. People want the truth.
I don't think people want you to kill Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Jake Paul has posted multiple videos on his social media that show his heavyweight physique and athleticism. Although most videos contain comedy and a non-serious attitude, some videos display his dedication to end the former legend Iron Mike.
Sir!
UFC bantamweight competitor Holly Holm revealed that the bout is really unusual and that both competitors are engaging in what they enjoy most, which is fighting in front of a packed stadium. Holly adores that despite his advanced age, Mike Tyson nonetheless has the drive to win, and his background will enable him to produce the best outcome.
I think it's awesome. You only live once, and it's not like he hasn't been in there. He knows exactly what it takes to get in there. He knows what a fight is, and I love that he still has this passion that he wants to put out there, and I'm excited to watch him. I mean, he's still, he definitely is like, he's the fastest and most powerful at, being like a heavier weight. You look at his like actual like speed and power. So obviously it's not the same as what he was, when he was in his prime.
Jake Paul's longtime hater, Michael Bisping, shunned Paul for taking on an old and out-of-form Mike Tyson. Bisping said that Jake has made a terrible move by going up against an opponent who has long been out of his prime.
This is a lose-lose situation. It's not Jake taking a risk. It's Jake being moronic. That's what this is, because if he beats Mike Tyson, God forbid he even knocks out Mike Tyson, that's just a move, right? And if Jake Paul gets knocked out, he's an absolute dickhead.
Dan commented on the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight and predicted the outcome. He shared that if Tyson doesn't manage to charge Jake in the first round, then he will never win the fight. Tyson has fought aggressively throughout his entire life, but age may be catching up to him. Mike Tyson received a harsh warning from Jake Paul when he declared that on November 15th, he will defeat the boxing icon and take over as the sport's new face. Because Jake Paul is the happy content creator and enjoys having fun, many people undervalue his skills. However, Paul revealed that when he faces Mike Tyson, people would realize that he is a true murderer.
Yeah, 1000%. People just think I'm this nice, crazy, smiley social media content creator. I like to have fun. I've always been the class clown, but I'm a killer. This is what I was bred to do. This is my destiny. On November 15th, I will stop him and become the face of boxing.
Do you think Mike Tyson can end Jake Paul? Will Mike's stamina hold up against Jake Paul's energy and power? We would love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments section below and subscribe for more content like this.